All right. Let's turn the music down a little bit. All right. We are here. It is Monday. Yesterday was Selection Sunday, so you know we're here. All right. Spend enough time. Let's turn the music down really quick. Let me just get something up really fast for a second. Go. All right. I think we're ready to go. All right. So, what's up, everybody? We're back with another live edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. And you know what? Before we start, because I'm gonna forget. I know I am. I'm gonna forget. Now we're officially live. All right. So what we got on the docket here today, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this later, or on YouTube or with a VOD or whatever. Basically, today I'm going to be filling out a March Madness bracket live. Yeah, yesterday was Selection Sunday. Today, of course, next 2 days people are going to be filling out their brackets. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to do mine live here today. If you're watching this after the fact, after the live or whatever, come through. Sometimes we go live. Honestly, I got to get better at planning them in advance. I feel like I kind of say them a little bit too, last second or whatever. But I'm going to try to be better at that so we can, get a better scheduling and stuff like that. But we're going to go live and we're doing a March Madness bracket. So I got one filled up and we're going to get into it because I don't want to be here for like 3 hours because usually brackets like this take so long, but we're going to do it here in today's video. Get the little stuff out of the way. If you're new around here or whatever, if you like the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. Join the membership that just opened up. I got a video explaining all that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So let me pull up the bracket and stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to get it on a good spot, you know what I mean? But all right. So here we got the brackets, got all that stuff here. Also have another doc, a Google Doc right here, that I have like all my notes on each team, I guess, and stuff. Hopefully you guys can see it well too. I don't know how great it looks, but so I tried to zoom in and stuff like that. But yeah, if not, I'm just gonna say it out loud and you can hear it from there. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get this bracket done because this usually takes a little while. So we'll start in the East region. East region, we got the number one. We got on this side, if you can't see. So number 1 and 16, we got number 1 UConn, and the number 16 Stetson. Oh, by the way, got a Donovan Mitchell Louisville jersey on. Thought March Madness college bracket when I pull out a college jersey, and also pulled out a jersey that a team did make it. So there's no bias here, and that's what I want to explain. First, start off. There's no bias. There's no, I'm not a college expert at all. Nowhere near close to a college basketball expert or whatever. So, I'm not Jay Billis out here, So don't take my picks and stuff to heart or too seriously. This is really just for fun at the end of the day, because why not fill out a bracket? So, start off, round of 64. Starting in the East region, we got the 116 match of UConn versus Stetson. Now, UConn, of course, are the reigning champs. They are the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Looking at some of their, stuff I wrote down. I literally wrote down something for like every single region. So what I have here, they're 31-3. They won the Big East outright, the tournament and the regular season. KenPom, which if you don't know what KenPom is, it's basically like, you go to NBA.com, you go to the advanced stats, you go to like offensive rating, defensive rating, stuff like that. That's basically what it is for college basketball. And for KenPom, the ratings, they are the number 1 team in the entirety of college basketball. They have the number 1 offense in college basketball and a number 11 defense. So yeah, they're a real tough challenge, and they honestly have a really, really, really good shot of going back to back in terms of winning it. But for the first round matchup, they're playing against Stetson, and a shout out to Stetson. They made the tournament for the first time in program history, and first time in like 52-year program history. They made the tournament. They won their conference, which was the ASUN. They won the ASUN Conference Championship. According to KenPom, they're one of the worst teams, number 218 team. They're 16 seed. They do have Jalen Blackman. Shout out to Jalen Blackman. He put up 40 points in their championship game. He's their star player, averages over 21.5 points per game, so they have him. But also, looking at some of the ratings and stats, out of every team that all the 68 teams that made the NCAA tournament, Stetson I think has the worst defensive rating. They have the worst defense in the entire 68 team field, going up against UConn, who has the number one offense. So, yeah, we're going UConn, going to the round of 32, getting by Stetson in their first round matchup. Now we got an 8-9 matchup. Out here we got an 8-9 matchup. We got FAU and Northwestern. This is a tough one. FAU, of course, they made the NCAA tournament last. They made the Final Four last year. They were a really, really good team. They were on the bubble this year because they were a top team. They were ranked for a lot of the season. In the AAC conference, they were second in the regular season. They lost in the semifinal game. And so people are like, well, will FAU make it or not? And they end up as an 8 seed, probably just because of the talent or because of the past, the last year. They thought, they have experience, let's give it to them. So FAU, they have a good team. They got John L. Davis, Vlad Golden. Their big man is really good. Elijah Martin. They have basically the same team that they had last year, in the going back for another run. And then we have Northwestern, the number 9 spot in the Big Ten. They have Bo Buie. Bo Buie's their star player. He averages over 19 points per game, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. He shoots really well from the field as well. This is a really interesting game. Both these teams are kind of good. Like Florida Atlantic's more of an offensive type of team. Both these teams are more offensive type of teams. But I'm going to go FAU for the first round match. I'm going to go FAU for the experience they have. They have experience. Made it to the Final Four last year. I think that experience could come into play here. I think it's going to be a really good game. 8-9s are usually the hardest to pick. I'm going FAU, though. Next, we got the 5-12, San Diego State, UAB. San Diego State, they lost in their championship game in the Mountain West to New Mexico. But they're also a team that made the Final Four, which is funny that we got 3 of the 4 Final Four teams from last year in the same region this year. San Diego State, they lost in the championship game to UConn last season. Looking at some of their stuff, they're a top 10 defense in terms of KenPom. They're a number 21 team. They have Jaden Ledee is your star guy, averaging 21, 8, and assists, a steal. He shoots 55%, 41% from 3. He's your star player. San Diego State's a tough team. And then at 12, you have UAB. They won the AAC tournament. They won their tournament championship. They're led by Yaxel Lendenberg and Eric Gaines, other star players. You also have Alejandro Vasquez, who had 30 in their championship game. They're a good team. They're more of an offensive-oriented team. 5-12s are also, I think, pretty hard. I think I'm going to go with San Diego State, though, because I like Jaden Ledee. I like that they're a really good defensive team, and again, they also have experience from last year's, championship. So I think that's going to come into play. I got them going at their number 5. Next, we have Auburn-Yale, 4-13 matchup. Auburn, they won the SEC tournament. They're really dominant. They're one of the best teams overall in general. KenPom has them as the number 4 team in the nation. They have a top 10 offense and a top 5 defense. Johnny Broome has been really good, averaging 16 and 8 with 2 blocks. Jalen Williams, they have a really, really, really tough team, defensive team. Bruce Pearl knows how to coach them down there. And so that's going to be a very interesting matchup as they face off against 13 Yale. They won the Ivy League tournament. They have Danny Wolf is their big man. Danny Wolf, he's kind of like a Dollar General, Alperen Sengun, that type of guy, center that can do a lot of different things, can dribble, can pass, can score, can do all that type of stuff. He has a smart team. They're a very interesting team when it comes in, looking at some of their KenPom. Yeah, they're a very balanced team as well. They have a really deep team. So it's going to be tough, but I got to go Auburn here. I think they're a tough team. I mean, they're a top 5 team in the nation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think I got to go Auburn here in the first round. Next, got the 6-11 matchup, BYU and Duquesne. Finally know how to say that school name, Duquesne. It's Duquesne. The S is silent. BYU, they're a team that relies on the 3-ball a whole lot. I think looking at some of their stats, they're, I think, the number 2 team in all of college basketball in 3-pointers made and 3-point attempts. So they get their threes up. You know what I mean? Looking at KenPom, they have almost a top 10 offense. They have a really good all-around team, but they rely on the 3-ball a lot. And they got Duquesne making their first tournament appearance since the 70s. They won the Atlantic 10 Conference, which was a crazy conference tournament, by the way. where all the top seeds lost in like the second round. It was crazy. But Duquesne makes it. Duquesne is more of a defensive oriented team. Yeah, their offense is not good, but they're a top 30 defense. They have Day Day Grant, Jimmy Clark the third. They're a very rugged team. This is an interesting one because Duquesne has the defense, BYU has offense. BYU is a 3-point shooting heavy team, which personally for me, I'm not a huge fan of teams that rely on the three because I feel like if you rely on the three, you die on the three. Duquesne is a tough, gritty defense, so I can see a world where Duquesne can come out and win this one over BYU. But also, looking at Duquesne, watching their games and stuff, they're a gritty team. Like BYU gets hot, hits like 2 or 3 threes in a row. I don't feel like Duquesne can come back from it. You know what I mean? BYU has just the chance of just exploding and hitting some shots. So I'm gonna go BYU. I'll go BYU over Duquesne. A close one, I'll go BYU. Next we have the 3-14 Illinois and Morehead State. Illinois, they won the Big Ten championship. Terrence Shannon Jr., potential draft prospect. He's a dog. He averages 22 points per game. I think he had 40 in their conference final game and then 30 in the championship game. He's a bucket getter. You know, Illinois has got one of the best off. They're number 3 offense team in the nation. They also have Coleman Hawkins, who's another draft prospect. They're a really, really good team. And then you have Morehead State at 14. Shout out to Kenneth Fareed. They won the Ohio Valley Conference. They were the best team in the Ohio Valley Conference. Riley Minks is their guy, averaging 20 and 10 with 2 assists, a steal, a block. He's really, really good. Had a really good year. Morehead State's a tough team, but Illinois' offense. Illinois is just a really powerful offense. And if Terrence Shannon Jr. gets going, it's going to be really, really hard to stop them. So I'm going Illinois. I haven't picked any upsets yet, but I think that's going to change. I'm going to go Illinois over Morehead State, even though Morehead State might battle. 7-10. Now this, I feel like, is probably the most interesting first-round game of this region. Washington State and Drake, the 7-10 matchup. This is going to be a very interesting one. Washington State has been a team. Washington State, shout out to Klay Thompson. Washington State has been a team that has been really good all year. They kind of surprisingly ran up the ranks. They were a ranked team. They lost early in their Pac-12 championship or the tournament, but they're a really good team. They got Isaac Jones, Miles Rice, Jalen Wells. They're really good all-around, just solid all-around basketball team. 64th offense, the top 30 defense. And then you have Drake at number 10. They won the Missouri Valley Championship. They have Tucker DeVries, who's the coach's son. Tucker DeVries is their star player. He averages almost 22, 7, and 3 with his 1.5 steals. He's really, really good as well. This is going to be a team. Both teams are very kind of similar. They play a good style of basketball, very smart, intelligent, move the ball around type of basketball. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very tight game. But I'm going with Drake. I think Drake, even last year, the year before, they've been a team that has kind of been, really good. But, of course, in a small conference, no one really looks at them. But Drake is a really good team, man. Tucker DeVries is really good. And I don't know. I just think this is going to be a really good game. And at the end, it's like, give it to your star. And I think Tucker DeVries and Drake, I think they're going to do it. I think they can beat Washington State, And then we have the 2-15 Iowa State, South Dakota State. Iowa State won the Big 12 tournament, dominated Houston in the championship game, which is insane. They won by like 30 dang near. They have the number 1 defense in the nation. Iowa State, they have the number 1 defense in the nation. They have like 5 guys that average over a steal and a half per game. It's crazy what they do on the defensive end. They've been dominant. They could have maybe even been a 1 seed potentially. And then you have South Dakota State at 15. South Dakota State, I think the last couple years, was a team that, they had Baylor Shireman, and it was like they could make an upset. This was probably one of their worst South Dakota State teams at 15. Yeah, they won the Summit League. They have Zeke Mayo, who averages almost 19-6, 3.5 assists per game. So they have a solid team, but I don't love the South Dakota. I think I picked South Dakota State to upset a team a couple years ago, and they didn't do it. But I'm going with Iowa State. I think their defense they're just too elite. So I'm going with that. Should I just do East Region whole, or should I do round of 64? I'm just do the whole first round, and then we go to, whatever happens after. All right, next game we got the West Region, the 116 North Carolina, and then whoever wins out of Howard and Wagner. Shout out to Howard and Wagner. Howard won the MEAC championship 2 years in a row. They made the tournament, and then Wagner somehow as a 6th seed won the NEC tournament. For their first championship, their first tournament appearance is like the early 2000s. But I'm going North Carolina. I think these two are like two of the worst teams in terms of ranking and stuff in the tournament. I'm gonna go North Carolina. I mean, even though they did lose the ACC championship game and all stuff like that, North Carolina's just really, 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 really good. So I gotta go North Carolina. 8-9 matchup: Mississippi State, Michigan State. Mississippi State um, finished 21-13. They lost in the conference semifinals. You know, they're a team that's really good. They have Deron Holmes, who's really good, averaging 28, 2 assists, 2 blocks per game. Looking at some of their rankings, they have the 18th. They're a top 20 offensive team, so they can do that. They can get their buckets led by Deron Holmes. And you have Michigan State, Tom Izzo. I think this is the 26th straight year or something like that they made the tournament, because Tom Izzo is a basketball legend. They're a very interesting team as well. They're a top 10 defense. They have Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, a team that was very experienced in the last couple years. Definitely a more experienced team. This is a really tough game, man, because I don't like going against Tom Izzo. I don't like going against the legends, and Tom Izzo is one of them. I'm gonna go Michigan State. I mean, I like the top 10 defense. I like that they're a more experienced veteran group with Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, AJ Hoggard. Like, I like that a lot. And yeah, I don't really like to bet against Tom Izzo. So I'm going with Michigan State in this game. 5-12 matchup: St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. St. Mary, they won the West Coast Conference. They were number 1 seed, and they won their championship. They have a really, really solid team. They're a top 20 team in the nation. The number 2 off. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. Number 45 offense, number 6 top 20 defense, and they have a really all around team. It's not just they have one star. They have Aiden Mahaney, Augustus Marshalunas, which is Sarunas Marshalunas, I think is his son, Mitchell Saxton, Joshua Jefferson, Alex Dukas. They have a really good all around team, and I like that. And St. Mary's is a really good program. And then you have Grand Canyon at number 12. Grand Canyon, they won the WAC. Was it the WAC? I think they're in the WAC. They won the tournament. I think that's like the 3rd time in 4 years they made the NCAA tournament since coming to Division I. So out to Grand Canyon. They have Ty and Grant Foster, who is really good. He averaged 26 an assist, a steal, 1.5 blocks on 44% shooting. He's really good. I think this is an interesting one. This is an interesting game. Both these teams are kind of similar. They both play kind of more. Well, St. Mary's kind of has a team. Grand Canyon, you have Ty and Grant Foster, who's kind of the star player in that. Grand Canyon's not a team to take lightly. I watched their tournament. I watched their championship games. They're not a team to take lightly at all. They have a lot of length. Their defense, I think, is really good. They got their numbers. Yeah, they have almost a top 50 defense. St. Mary's is also almost a top 20 defense. So it's probably going to be more of a defensive style matchup, and whoever's offense can really get it going. This is a tough one, because 5-12s are tough. 5-12s are tough, to be honest. 5-12s are tough. I'm going to go... I'm going St. Mary's. I'm going to go St. Mary's, even though I really want to go with Grand Canyon. I'm going to go with St. Mary's, though, on this one. 4-13, you have Alabama, Charleston. Alabama just extended Nate Oates, shout out to him. They have the number 2 offense in the nation. They get up threes. They are a very fast-paced offense led by Mark Sears, Aaron Estrada. They have Grant Nelson, the transfer from North Dakota State. Their offense is amazing. Defensively, they're not in the top 100, but they're a team that just is going to outscore you. They're kind of like maybe the Indiana Pacers, if you will. They're just going to put in buckets on you. And then you have the College of Charleston, a 13 seed. They won the CAA tournament. They're a top 60 offense. They're more of a kind of do-it-by-committee type of team. They're a very interesting team in this. Alabama's offense is really, really good, and I really believe in Nate Oates in them. So I'm going with Alabama on this one. Dang, I feel like I'm not picking as many upsets. Honestly, I feel like when we get later into the bracket, we're going to see a lot more upsets. I feel like this side is not as upset heavy as the other side. But speaking of upsets, we might have one right here. 6-11 spot, Clemson and New Mexico. Clemson finished as the 6th spot. They had a kind of disappointing ACC championship. PJ Hall's their guy. He averages 19.6, over 1.5 blocks per game. They have Joe Girard III as well. They're a top 35 team in terms of KenPom. But New Mexico has some up and down. Really good Mountain West tournament. They won the Mountain West tournament. They have a backcourt of NBA players' sons. If you don't know, Their backcourt is Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr., the sons of Eddie House and Jamal Mashburn. Very explosive backcourt. House averages 16, Mashburn averages 14. They also have JT Toppin, Donovan Dent. I really like New Mexico, and I'm picking them over Clemson. I think might be a popular one, but it's one that I feel like is true. You know, I really like New Mexico. They're a really good offense. They have the NBA players' kids, and I really like their all-aroundness. So I'm going New Mexico on the upset. I feel like New Mexico can do it. 3:14, Baylor and Colgate is our next matchup. Baylor and Colgate. Baylor are really good. You know, they finish early in the Big 12. They're a top 10 offense. The number 14 team in terms of KenPom. They have Jacoby Walter, who might be a lottery pick this year. Freshman averaging 14 points a game on good shooting. They have Ray J. Dennis. They have 6 players that average over double figures. Ves Messi also is another draft prospect. They have an amazing team led by their coach, who I'm forgetting his name right now off the top of my head, but he's a really, really good coach. And they have Colgate. Another year, another Colgate appearance. Won the Patriot League. I think it was, 4 in the past 5 years or whatever they won the Patriot League. They're a team that I think I've picked in the past couple years maybe to be an upset. You know, they have Braden Smith. Keegan Records has been there for a while. I don't love this Colgate team, though, as much as I have other years, so I'm going to go with Baylor. I think last year I picked Colgate or whatever, but I think Baylor's the team. I'm going to go Baylor. Last couple matchups, 7-10, we have Dayton and Nevada. This could be a very interesting one. Dayton has a number 7 seed in there. Had an early exit in the Atlantic 10, which again, Atlantic 10 was an insane tournament. They're a top 20 offense. They have Deron Holmes. Actually, you know what? I think I messed up by saying Deron Holmes earlier. Did I say Deron Holmes earlier for a different team? I think I might have messed up there. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Deron Holmes, really good, averaging 28, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 54% shooting. I like Deron Holmes. Dayton is a very tough team. And then you have Nevada at number 10. Nevada lost them. They finished second in the Mountain West. They lost in the quarterfinals. They're a very balanced team. Number 40 offense, number 36 defense. Gerard Lucas is their leading guy, averaging 18 points per game. They have Keenan Blackshear, averages 15, 5, and 5 with a steal. Nick Davidson averages 12 and 7. They're both kind of balanced. Well, Dayton's more of an offensive house. Nevada is more of a very balanced team, which I like. I like the balanced teams. I'm going with Nevada. I'm going with Nevada with the upset on Dayton. I like that. I like balanced teams. I like teams that can do it on both ends. You know, they're about average in both spots. They have a couple of different guys that can go off and get it, and I like that. So I'm going with Nevada. The final matchup, 2:15, Arizona, Long Beach State. The interesting thing about the 2:15s is that I feel like the last couple of years there's always been a 2:15 upset. Last year we had Princeton beat Arizona. Year before that we had the St. Peter's Magic, or Roberts. I feel like there's always a 15 seed that's sneaky. Now, am I saying Long Beach State is the one? No. And it's funny thing about Long Beach State is that right before their conference tournament, the Big West Conference tournament, they were saying they were going to fire their coach. And then they won the tournament. So now a coach that is going to be fired has led the team to the tournament, which is kind of crazy to think about. This guy's literally coaching for his job. But Arizona is the number 2 spot. They finished first in the Pac-12. They lost early in the in the conference tournament. They're the 6th best team in the nation according to KenPom. A top 10 offense, just outside the top 10 defense. Caleb Love, the transfer from North Carolina, had an amazing year, 18, 4, and 3. They have Omar Ballo, who's really good, down low in the paint. They have Pele Larson, Keshad Johnson. Arizona is a really good team, man. After the upset that happened last year, when they lost to Princeton, I think they're coming for revenge over Long Beach State. Long Beach State, one of the worst teams in the tournament, but they did win their, conference, so respect to them. I gotta go Arizona. But 15 seeds are very dangerous, is what I'm saying for maybe the future. 15 seeds are dangerous for later in this. Going to the South, we have Houston and Longwood. Houston, one of the best teams in the nation all year. Kelvin Sampson has an incredible program over there. Houston, they won the Big 12 regular season. They were in the top 5 in rankings, empowering the entirety of the year. They had an unfortunate end They got blown out in the Big 12 championship game. They also didn't have Jerron Roberts, one of their important players. But Houston is an amazing team. Looking at their, I gotta go to the South. Yeah, they won 30 games. They're the number 2 team in the nation according to KenPom. They have the 17th offense. They have the second best defense. They have L.J. Cryer, Jamal Shead is incredible as well. Emmanuel Sharp, of course, Jerron Roberts, and they have experience. I love this Houston team. And then Longwood, we have them as the number 16 spot. They won the Big South Championship, 21-13. Shout out to Longwood, but I gotta go Houston here. I don't know if we're seeing a 16-1 upset this season, but then again, we saw it last year, so who knows? 8-9, Nebraska and Texas A&M. This one I feel like is going to be a very fun game. Nebraska number 8. They lost in the Big 10 semifinals. KenPom, their top 30 offense and a top 40 defense, kind of balanced there. Their main guy is Keisei Tominaga, which he could be a star in this tournament. He's going to be one of the fan favorites of the tournament, especially if they make a run. If Nebraska breaks a run, Keisei Tominaga is going to be one of the darlings of America. He's very fun player, point guard, makes a lot of shots that you're just like, really? He made that shot? Makes a lot of game-breaking shots, really good player. But they have a great team as well. Bryce Williams, they have Frank Mass, Juwan Gary, very balanced team as well. So Nebraska's an interesting team. And then you have Texas A&M as a number 9 spot. They have Wade Taylor IV, who could be another guy that could be a fan favorite because he's a bucket getter. Wade Taylor IV is a bucket getter. He can get you 30 if you need him to, which is something that's very interesting in this tournament. So it's kind of going to be the battle of kind of like whose name will be better, Wade Taylor or Keisei Tominaga. It's an interesting game. Looking at some of the rankings here, Texas A&M is definitely more of an offensive team, while Nebraska is more of a defensive team and more of a, kind of collective, which I like a lot more. I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. I like having the fact that you have a guy like Wade Taylor, who can go up and drop 30 if you really need him to. I really, really like that. So I'm going Texas A&M on that one. Now this one, 5-12. This is one. Wisconsin and James Madison. Wisconsin number 5. They lost in the Big 10 championship game, but they beat Purdue. Their team that number 17 team, they have the 13th best offense, 47 defense. AJ Storr is another bucket getter. Went off in the Big 10 tournament. He averages 17 a game. They also have Stephen Crowell, Tyler Wall. Their point guard, Chucky Hepburn, is really solid. I like him a lot. So Wisconsin's a good team. But you have James Madison at number 12. If you don't know, if you haven't followed, James Madison is 31-3. They won 31 games. They won the Sun Belt. KenPom, they're a top 60 team. 56 offense, 79 defense. They are led by TJ Biggerstaff and Noah Friedel. But this is an actual team. You might not know about James Madison or whatever, but this is an actual team. And this is one of the teams that could go on the Cinderella run. I will put my money on them probably out of every double-digit seed. I think, was New Mexico a double-digit seed? I think maybe besides, after New Mexico, I think James Madison is my number 2 in terms of double-digit seeds that can make a run. James Madison. Watch out for James Madison University. They're an actual really good team. And I'm picking them over Wisconsin. I'm picking James Madison to be that team. Mark my words when I tell you about James Madison. Alright? Next we have the 4-13 matchup. Duke and Vermont. Duke at the number 4 spot in this region. They're Duke. They lost early in the ACC tournament. KenPom, they're a top 10 team. They're a top 10 offense, 26 defense. They have a lot of draft prospects. Kyle Filipowski is their main guy, averaging 17-8, 2 assists, stealing a block, potential lottery pick. Jeremy McCain, as well as another first-round pick potential. He's a shooter up there. They also have a really good lineup. They have Jeremy Rogers, their veteran point guard, Mark Mitchell, Tyrese Proctor. They have a really, really good team. And with their shots to John Shire, he's doing his thing. They have Vermont as a 13 seed. They won the American East tournament. Again, Vermont has just been like that over in the American East. Shamir Bogues is really good. That's a transfer. They have TJ Long, Aaron Deloney. They're a really good defensive team. Definitely more of a grinded out type of team. with a lot of length and versatility on the defensive end. Um, I'm gonna go with Duke though. I really like Duke's team. I like their depth that they have. I think they're a lot more of a veteran type team than expected. You know, they do have Jamie Roach and stuff like Tyrese Proctor, who's been there for a couple of years. Kyle Filipowski's been there for a couple of years. I'm going with Duke. 6-11. I think this is a very interesting game as well. Texas Tech and NC State. Texas Tech is the number 6 seed. According to KenPom, they're a top 25 team, top 25 offense, top 50 defense. Pop Isaacs, their main guy, you have just 16, 3 assists per game. They have a really good all around team. Definitely more of an offensive powerhouse. They have NC State, who somehow is here. They were the number 10 seed in the ACC tournament and won the ACC tournament. They took out everybody. They won 5 games in 5 days and won the ACC tournament and got an automatic bid. They have a lot of heart. You have DJ Horn as their leading guy. He comes off the bench. You have just 17. DJ Burns, their big man, averages 12.5 points per game. According to KenPom, they're a top 50 offense, top 100 defense. This is an interesting one because now NC State, they had to win 5 games in 5 days, and a lot of people have been talking about maybe can they keep that same energy and morale up, especially now with a couple of days off. You know, can they really keep that momentum going for the rest of the year over a really good Texas Tech team? And I've been trying to think of that as well. And this is tough because I want to believe, but also I understand like it's really tough to keep that up. And Texas Tech is a really good team. I mean, they're a team that, really good, balanced, top 50 offense and defense, a top 25 team in the nation. They have a star in Pop Isaacs. I'm going with NC State, though. I'm riding with the Wolfpack. I'm riding with NC State. I believe in the Wolfpack, and I believe in their heart, and I think they could keep it going. Now we have a 3-14 Kentucky and Oakland. Kentucky is Kentucky. 23-9, they finished second in the SEC regular season, lost early in the quarterfinals. According to KenPom, they're a top 20 team. They're a top 5 offense, but outside of the top 100 in defense. But offense buckets, they can give it to you from anywhere. You want Antonio Reeves, a 20-point scorer. You want Rob Dillingham, who's a potential top 10 pick. Reed Shepard is a potential top 5 pick. You want them. You want DJ Wagner as their starting point guard, the number 1 high school player in the nation coming in. You want Trey Mitchell. Like if you want buckets, we can give it to you. You want buckets, we got buckets over here, all right? Now the real question on not only for this game but for the entire tournament for them is, can they lock in defensively? Because they've shown some moments where they can lock in defensively and they look like one of the best teams in the country. But it's not there all the time because they have a young team. But I think their offense should be able to get them by for at least maybe 2 or 3 games. But once we get to maybe if they get to the Sweet 16 or whatever, that's when they're really going to have to start locking in. But a first round match against Oakland, they won the Horizon League. According to KenPom, not a very great team. Trey Townsend is their leading guy, though. He has just 17, 7, 3 assists, a steal. He does everything for them. They have Blake Lampman as well. Shout out to Oakland, but Kentucky, I think their offense is just going to be too powerful to stop for the first couple rounds. 7-10. Now, this is an interesting one because this is the first 4 game. You have Boise State and Colorado. And I feel like one of these two teams, I feel like every year for the last couple years, there has been a Force 4 team that wins a game. And I feel like this is going to be the team to do it. Either Boise State or Colorado. Boise State were really good in the regular season of Mountain West. Lost early in the Mountain West tournament for Boise State. According to KenPom, they're a top 30 defense. They have a really good all-around game. Tyson Degenhart, Chibuzo Agbo, Omar Stanley, Max Rice. And Colorado, they lost in the Pac-12 championship game. I love Colorado. They have a couple NBA prospects. Tristan Da Silva, a potential first-round pick. Cody Williams is a potential top 5 pick, brother of Jalen Williams. KJ Simpson is amazing as well. Colorado is really good. Florida, they're in 7th spot. A top 15 offense. They have Walter Clayton Jr., who I really love Walter Clayton Jr. But a big thing also is that Florida lost in the SEC championship game, and in that game they lost their starting center. So they're not going to have their starting center for the season, which could play a big factor in things. I didn't mean to do that. I can change it. Can I pick the first 4 games? No, because the thing is, I think Colorado. I think Colorado beats Boise State, and I think they beat Florida. I'm picking Colorado to beat Boise State in the first four, and then beat Florida. I like Colorado's all around team. I love the players they have. They have KJ Simpson, Tristan Da Silva, Cody Williams, Eddie Lampkin Jr. They have a really good all around team. Good starting five. You know, top 20, almost a top 25 team in the nation. I'm going with Colorado to be my first four team to go. And the final matchup in this region, Marquette, Western Kentucky. Marquette is dealing with injury. Their star player Tyler Kolek did not play in the Big East tournament game. Tournament did not play in the Big East tournament, but they made it all the way to the championship game. They lost to UConn, but they still have a really good team all around. They have Cam Jones, Oso Ighodaro, David Joplin. So they still have a really good team. It's just they do not have their star player, and I think they could survive for one round. They play against the fifth seed Western Kentucky. Could this be the 15 team? Could this be the number 15 team that takes it? Western Kentucky, they won the Conference USA tournament. They're led by Don McHenry. Your star player averages 15 points per game. They're almost a top 100 defense. So maybe this could be the top 15, the 15 seed to do it and take out a 2 seed. I'm not going to be picking them though. I'm going to go Marquette. Even if Tyler Kolek doesn't play, I love their team all around. But once we get past this, then Tyler Kolek's going to need to come around. But Marquette, I think they can survive one game. The final region, the Midwest region. We're going there. We got the number 1 seed Purdue taking on the winner of the first 4 game between Montana State and Grambling. Montana State, Grambling, shout out to both of them. Montana State, they somehow won their tournament. They finished as a 500 team and won the Big Sky. And then Grambling, shout out to Grambling making their first ever tournament appearance. Shout out to them. They won the SWAC. But Purdue is gonna win that game. Maybe, because there's this thing about Purdue that I'm not even gonna say for this game, for the rest of the bracket. How much can we trust Purdue? The last couple, they lost to it. They were a 1 seed last year and they lost to a 16 seed. So I'm gonna pick them to win this game, but Purdue. I personally think the Midwest region is that could be the chaos region. Because honestly, looking at the Midwest region, stuff could get crazy in the Midwest region. I think that's the must-watch region in terms of if we're looking at all the regions and what games and what stuff. The Midwest region could get wild, I think. But I'm gonna go with Purdue in the first round. I'm gonna go with them. 8-9 matchup. You have Utah State and TCU. Utah State, they were finished number 1 in the Mountain West. They lost in the tournament. They have Gray Osabor, their star player. Great name, by the way, as well. Great name. He averages 18, 9, 3 assists, a steal, 1.5 blocks. They have Ian Martinez, Darius Brown. They're a top 50 team according to KenPom. Top 40 offense, top 70 defense. They're a really good regular season team. And then you have TCU down there, number 9. TCU, they're not great in the regular season. Went to the conference to quarterfinals in the Big 12, lost. They have Emmanuel Miller as their star player. He averages 16, 6, 2 assists and a steal. They also have Jameer Nelson Jr. as their starting point guard, who's been really solid as well. I think this is a very interesting game. TCU has, I think, the explosiveness maybe to go on a run. But Utah State, I feel like, has a better team all around, so I'm going to go with Utah State in this game. 5-12. Now, here's where we start getting kind of wild. Gonzaga and McNeese. Gonzaga, you probably don't know the Gonzaga that we were used to seeing. Drew Timme is no longer there. Julian Strawther is no longer there. A lot of their players from the past couple years aren't there anymore, but they still have a good team. They did lose in the West Coast Conference championship because St. Mary's is really good. KenPom, they're still a top 15 team, a top 10 offense, top 50 defense. Graham Ike is their leading guy. They have Anton Watson, Nolan Hickman, Ryan Nembhard, who's the brother of Andrew Nembhard. So Gonzaga, even though they're not the same anymore, don't sleep on them. They're still a very solid team. But you have McNeese at number 12. McNeese, you probably don't know who McNeese is or never heard of McNeese, but don't let them fool you. They won 30 games. They won the Southland, ran through the Southland Conference. KenPom, they're a top 60 team, almost a top 50 offense, top 100 defense, led by Shahada Wells, just 17, 4, and 5 with 3 steals per game. they have running a really good program over there, and I'm gonna combine both of these because you have the 5-12 and the 4-13. McNeese and Sanford I've seen have been very popular upset picks, both of them, which means one of them is not gonna do it. I feel like when you have two upset picks, especially close to each other, one of them isn't gonna hit. One of them is not gonna hit. Either McNeese or Sanford. One of those teams are not gonna. Both of those teams are not gonna make it. Personally, for me. But I'm gonna pick Gonzaga over McNeese. I think it's gonna be a very interesting game. I think one of McNeese and Sanford, one of them is gonna win, not both of them. And if both of them win, then wow, a 12-13 second round is crazy. But I feel like one of them is not gonna win. I feel like Gonzaga is gonna be the team to beat, to not lose that one. You know, even though they're also a team that you can't really fully trust in the past couple tournaments, but I'm gonna trust them in this game. And then we have the 4-13 Kansas and Sanford. This is another very popular upset pick. Kansas is very injured. Their star player Hunter Dickinson, their big man, might not play in this game. Kevin McCullough, their other best player, who's a potential draft prospect, might not play. He's been in and out of the lineup. And Sanford is a really good team. They finished 29-5. They won the Southern Conference. According to KenPom, they're a top 70 offense. Achor is really good. He averages 16-6, almost 2 blocks per game, shoots 60% from the field. I like Sanford's team. And Kansas, they had a really early exit in the Big 12 because of the injuries. I just don't know how much they can overcome the injury, especially against a tough Sanford team. So I'm going with Sanford. I think Sanford's going to be the one to do it out of McNeese and Stanford. Honestly, if these two are flipped, if McNeese was playing against Stanford or McNeese was playing against Kansas, Stanford was against Gonzaga, I probably would have picked McNeese over Kansas. But I'm picking Stanford over Kansas. Final few matchups of the first round of 6-11. We have South Carolina and Oregon. This is a very interesting game as well. I also seen Oregon as a big popular upset pick over this one as well. South Carolina, they're a team that were picked last to finish in the SEC, and they finished as one of the best teams in the SEC. According to KenPom, they're a top 50 team. Very balanced, 46 offense, 54 defense. Meechie Johnson is really good. Colin Murray-Boyles is a potential draft prospect that I really like a whole lot. And yeah, I like this tough South Carolina team. And then you have Oregon. They won the Pac-12 championship. According to KenPom, they're a top 50 offense, number 70 defense. N'Faly Dante is really good. He averages 16-9, almost 2 steals and 2 blocks, shooting 70% from the field. In the Pac-12 championship game, he went like 11 for 11. He's amazing. You also have Jermaine Couisnard, Jackson Shelstad. This is a very popular. I see why this is a very popular pick because Oregon has some really good players. Down there, you know. South Carolina, I like the toughness. South Carolina is a very tough team, very gritty type of team. But Oregon has a lot of their really good players as well, a lot of stars. So I'm going with Oregon. I'm going to go Oregon with the upset over South Carolina. 3-14, you have Creighton and Akron. Creighton, they've been a really good team, one of the best teams in the league. They were really good in the Big East. According to KenPom, they're almost a top 10 team. They're a number 11 team in the nation. Number 12 offense, 24 defense. I like Baylor Shireman as their star player. They have Trey Alexander, Ryan Kalkbrenner. This is a really good team. Creighton is. And Akron, shout out to LeBron. They won the MAC. Enrique Freeman is nice. Averages 18, 13, 2 blocks per game. Enrique Freeman is a dog. He's going to have to go into his bag in order for them to win this game because Creighton is really tough. I got to go Creighton over Akron. Next, we have 7 Texas facing off against one of the first 4 teams, either Virginia or Colorado State. I think Colorado State beats Virginia in the first 4 games because I like Colorado State. They have a guy named Isaiah Evans who I think he could be a star. And they have a chance. If Colorado State wins, they have a really good chance to beat Texas because Isaiah Evans is a star. Texas, they're really tough, though. They have Max Abmas, who, if you don't remember who Max Abmas is, he led Oral Roberts to that Cinderella run a couple years ago. Now he's at Texas, a college basketball legend. Max Abmas is. They also have Dylan Dessou, Tyrese Hunter, Dylan Mitchell. I really like this Texas team, so I'm going to pick them over Colorado State. And then the final one, Tennessee and St. Peter's. Could St. Peter's do it again? 2 years ago, they were 15 seed in the middle all the way to the Elite 8. Can they do it again? You're facing off against Tennessee, who was the best team in the regular season in the SEC. They lost out early in the tournament game. According to KenPom, they're a top 10 team. They're number 17. They have a top 5 defense, the third best defense in the nation. Dalton Knecht is a star. He could raise his draft value up in this tournament if he has a good one. He averages 21 points per game. They also have Sakai Ziegler. I like this Tennessee team a lot. You have St. Peter's. They somehow won the MAAC tournament. They have below 3. They have a really bad offense in terms of KenPom, 305, but their defense is a top 80. I don't think they have anybody from that St. Peter's team that was Cinderella. Even their coach is gone. No one from that St. Peter's team. So could St. Peter's do it again? I'm sorry, but I can't do it. I can't pick St. Peter's again. Even though that would be insane if they do it again. I just don't think they can do it. I got Tennessee. All right. Let's speed this up a little bit more. Round of 32. Going back to the East region. UConn and FAU in the second round. FAU, of course, they made the Final Four last year. They have a veteran type of team. And UConn is really... I just can't go against UConn in that one. San Diego State and Auburn. This is a really interesting game as well. We could get a rematch of the finals last year. Auburn, I love the Auburn's defense. They're a tough team. San Diego State's also, these are two of the best defenses in the nation. Going up against each other, it's really going to be about whose offense can carry them more. And I trust Auburn's offense a little bit more than San Diego State's. So I'm going to go with Auburn. BYU and Illinois. BYU has a chance just because BYU has the 3-ball. And if their 3-ball is hidden, they're a tough team to stop. But the thing about Illinois also is that they have Terrence Shannon Jr. who can go get 30 and 40 if he really needs to. So that's why this is a very polarizing game, I feel like, for me. Thing is, I say I don't trust teams that shoot a lot of threes, but man. I'm going BYU. I feel like we have to have one upset in this side of the bracket. I'm going BYU over Illinois. I think they get hot. I think they do it. And then Drake and Iowa State. I would love to go Drake, but Iowa State's defense is just too insane. If Tucker DeVries can have another big game, then maybe. But Iowa State, their defense is just too wild. Too good. I gotta go. Next, North Carolina, Michigan State. This could get interesting. Again, Tom Izzo's not a coach that you want to go up against a whole lot. Not a coach you want to face. You want to pick against. Kind of like if Eric Spoelstra or Greg Popovich is in a series. You don't want to pick against Tom Izzo. I really like North Carolina's team though. R.J. Davis is a baller. Armando Bacot, Cormac Ryan. They're a really good team. North Carolina is a really, really good team. They're number 1 seed for a reason. One number 1 seed has to go out early. It just is what it is. It has to happen. I'm going Michigan State. I believe in Tom Izzo. I'm going Michigan State to be the first team to take out a number 1. North Carolina doesn't make it to the Sweet 16, which would be tough. But I don't know. It's March Madness, man. I'm going with it. And honestly, I'm not really, if it doesn't happen, I'm not crying or anything. It's just, I don't know. This one I'm picking. St. Mary's in Alabama. Interesting game, 4-5 matchup. Go back to the stats real quick just to get myself a refresher. Alabama, amazing offense. St. Mary's a really good team. Both teams are kind of more all-around game type style. Alabama's defense is going to be in for it, though, if St. Mary's can do their thing. Even though Alabama you have the number 2 offense. Alabama could go off and just score 90, 95 points. And then St. Mary's doesn't have anything, to come back with. So it's really, really tough. I'm going to go with... I'm going with St. Mary's. I like that they have a more of an all-around team. They have a more depth line. But Alabama's offense, if Alabama can't stop anybody, then, it's tough. St. Mary's is a really tough team to stop. So I'm going with St. Mary's. New Mexico and Baylor. Again, I think New Mexico has a chance. New Mexico has a really good chance to go on a big run. But Baylor is a really good team. New Mexico could be the team though. New Mexico could be the double-digit seed to go on the run. You know. Ah, man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with New Mexico. I'm going New Mexico. Going New Mexico. I like the House and Mashburn backcourt. JT Toppin. They're a really, really good team. They have explosiveness. I'm going New Mexico. And then Nevada, Arizona. I'm going to go with Arizona here. I think they have just a better team than Nevada. Caleb Love, Omar Ballo. I think they beat Nevada. They go to the Sweet 16. Next region, down the south, Houston and Texas A&M. This is an interesting matchup. Again, you have Wade Taylor going against one of the best defenses in the nation, though. I'm going with Houston in this game, not very comfortably, because again, Wade Taylor has the ability, and Houston's also their offense has kind of been a little bit not great in the last couple games. So if they get into a scoring battle, Wade Taylor maybe could go off and pop off, but I'm gonna go with Houston though. James Madison and Duke. What I said about James Madison is the team that potentially could go on the big run. Do I pick them over Duke, though? John Shire, Kyle Filipowski, Jared McCain, Jeremy Roach. They have a really good team. But James Madison can really ball. Let the madness begin. James Madison, the 12 seed, makes it to the Sweet 16. James Madison is going to be the one. NC State and Kentucky. This is a very tough, interesting game. It's probably going to be who can get a stop first. I'm going with Kentucky. Again, I feel like their offense is just their offense can hold them off for a game or two, especially at this point. NC State will probably be so exhausted. I don't know. So I'm going to go Kentucky. And I'm going Marquette over. Well, it's also interesting because we don't know Tyler Kolek's stuff. If Tyler Kolek is back and healthy, I'm going with Marquette. But if Tyler Kolek is still not playing, Colorado has a chance. I'm going Marquette. Consider if Tyler Kolek is healthy and the team is healthy, I'm going with Marquette. In this one, though. Final Midwest. This is where... Can I really trust Purdue in this situation? Purdue and Utah State. Can I trust Purdue? Utah State, again, they have great Osabor, really good all-around team. Going back to some of their notes that I had on them. Great Osabor, top 40 offense. Purdue is really good, but again, I don't know how much can I really trust Purdue. Something in my heart wants to go Utah State. Even though Purdue should win this game, they're the better team. Something in my heart wants to go with Utah State to win. But I'm going Utah State. I don't know why. Purdue is amazing. Zach Edey, best player in the nation. Fletcher Lawyer, they have a good team. But I don't. It's like when you see like the Clippers or something in the playoffs. It's like they're good, but can I really trust? Like somehow they always find a way to blow it. I can't put my full trust in Purdue, especially they lost to a 16 seed last year. They lost to Fairleigh Dickinson last year. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry, Purdue. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't put my trust in them. I got them losing to Utah State. Gonzaga and Stanford is an interesting game. Again, Gonzaga might not be the same, but they're still good. Stanford, coming off a Kansas upset. Can they do it again? Can a 13 seed make it to the Sweet 16? They already have a 12 and 11. Can we add in a 13? In Stanford. Achor. A.J. State McCray, Jaden Campbell, Jermaine Marshall. Top 70 offense. Going against Gonzaga with Graham Ike and Anton Watson and Ryan Nembhard and Mark Few. Top 10 offense. I'm going Gonzaga. I can't pit Stanford all the way because Gonzaga I feel like is becoming an underrated team at this point. I'm going Gonzaga. Final couple matchups of the Sweet round of 32: Oregon and Creighton. Oregon and Creighton. I'm going back and forth because again, Oregon, they have the star power to do it. Oregon, they have Folly Dante, Cousinard, Shellstad. They have the star power and the firepower to do it. But again, I love Creighton's team all around. I mean, Baylor Shireman, Ryan Cogburner, Trey Alexander. They blew out UConn early in the year. I want to go Oregon, but I'm going Creighton. And then Texas and Tennessee, that's going to be a very interesting game. I'm going with... I'm going with Tennessee. I think Dalton Connect. I like Kai Ziegler. I like the all-around team they built over there. I'm going with Tennessee over Texas. Sweet 16. Back up in the East. UConn and Auburn. Very interesting game. Very, very interesting game right there. UConn and Auburn. Defense. One of the best offenses versus one of the best defenses. Auburn is a very gritty team. UConn is so good, man. That's the thing. UConn is just a really, really freaking good team, man. They have it all. It's hard to pick against UConn. But I honestly do feel like if any team could do it, could take UConn out, I would put a lot of faith in Bruce Pearl and Auburn and their elite defense. I think any team on this side could do it. It could be Auburn. Do I pick Auburn? Does Auburn upset UConn? Take UConn out in the Sweet 16. I want to do it. Something in my heart is telling me to do it. But can I take UConn out like that, though? I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I can take UConn out, especially in the Sweet 16. Like, there's Final Four, but Sweet 16? This is hard, man. This is really, really freaking hard. I gotta go UConn. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable picking against UConn this early. I don't feel comfortable picking against UConn this early. I'm going UConn. But BYU and Iowa State, I'm going Iowa State. Their defense is too elite, And, I think their defense is too elite. And BYU, again, they rely on 3 balls so much. I gotta go Iowa State. Next, this bracket. I didn't realize how crazy I made this. The West region. 1 is out. 3 is out. It's 2, 5, 9, 11. Michigan State, St. Mary's. Does Tom Izzo's team keep going on the run? Yes, they do. I'm not picking against Tom Izzo. Michigan State, number 9, makes it to the Elite 8. Michigan State makes it to the Elite 8. New Mexico and Arizona. Does New Mexico do it? Does New Mexico make the run and beat Arizona? They have the guards. Arizona is really, really good, though. Does New Mexico make the run? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I love New Mexico, and I feel like there's a really good chance New Mexico can do it and can beat Arizona, but I'm going Arizona, though. I'm going with Arizona in this one. Alright, next region. Houston and James Madison. Now, this would be the ultimate one. If James Madison can take out Houston in the Sweet 16. I feel like one double-digit seed has to make it to the Sweet 16. Is James Madison the team? They beat Wisconsin. They beat Duke. Can they beat Houston, though? Is the real question. You know what? I'm going back. I'm going with New Mexico. I said one double-digit team has to make it to the Sweet 16. I'm going to Mexico because I'm picking Houston over James Madison. I feel like one double-digit team has to make it, and I'll put my faith in New Mexico. New Mexico is going to be the Cinderella team. Kentucky and Marquette. Now, again, this is where Tyler Kolek comes in. Because if Tyler Kolek is playing, I'm probably taking Marquette. If he's not playing, I'm taking Kentucky. This is all predicated if Tyler Kolek is there. Tyler Kolek is their leading assist. I think he leads the nation in assists. Like, he really is like that guy for Marquette, you know? So do I take him, or do I go with Kentucky? Because again, I feel like Kentucky has enough offensive firepower to where the first 2 games they're going to be good. But once we get to this scenario, against a really good team like Marquette, they're going to really have to lock in defensively. And I don't know how much I can trust them locking in defensively against a Marquette team, especially if they're fully healthy. So I'm going to go... with... I'm going Marquette. If Tyler Kolek is healthy. If Tyler Kolek is not healthy, I'm going Kentucky. But if Tyler Kolek is healthy, I'm going Marquette. Alright, last one. Utah State and Gonzaga. Can Utah State, the 8th seed, can they keep it going? Can they make it to the Sweet 16 and get Gonzaga out of here? No. I'm going Gonzaga. I'm going Gonzaga in this one. I like their team. Ryan Nembhard, Graham Ike, Anton Watson, they have a really good team. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be overlooked. So I think that's going to fuel them. Creighton, Tennessee. Again, I really love Creighton's team, man. I really like Creighton in this team. And yeah, I'm going with them. Alright, we're in the Elite 8. UConn and Iowa State. The number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the nation. Now, this is where it gets really tricky. Because, Iowa State defense is elite, but UConn's offense is elite as well. So it's really going to be the battle, the age-old question is offense or defense win championships. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go... It's so hard not to pick against UConn, but Iowa State, man. Iowa State. That defense is just so good. I'm going UConn. Next, Michigan State and New Mexico. Can Tom Izzo lead his team to the Elite 8 or to the Final 4? I'm going to say no. New Mexico. New Mexico makes the run, and they go to the Final 4. Next, Houston and Marquette is an interesting one. I really love Houston. Calvin Sampson, they have a great program over there. And again, this Marquette run really predicates on the Tyler Kolek injury. Because if Tyler Kolek does not play in this game, Houston, Kentucky is one matchup here. But if Tyler Kolek is healthy and playing, if Tyler Kolek is healthy, I might go Marquette. But Houston is really good. I'm going Houston to the Final 4. I think Gonzaga and Creighton. I'm going to go with Creighton. I'm going Creighton over Gonzaga. I like the team. We're in the Final 4. UConn and New Mexico. I just realized we have 2. We could have... If I would have picked Marquette, we would have 3 Big East teams in the Final 4. That's crazy. UConn and New Mexico. Can New Mexico make the ultimate run? Can New Mexico take out UConn and go to the finals? The thing also is, I don't want to have 2 1s in the championship. One of those 2 teams, UConn, New Mexico, one of them, I don't like having 2 1s here and meet up in the finals. Because realistically, when does that happen? Not really. So, but also, I don't want to have... Do we have a big UConn and Creighton in the championship game? But and then Marquette and UConn again in the championship, or do I just go with the both ones? I'm going Houston over Creighton, and I'm going UConn and Houston. UConn and Houston is my championship. In the championship game, I'm going Houston. I give Houston beats UConn in the championship game. UConn just falls just short of going back to back, and the University of Houston wins the championship. It's my pick, which is crazy because a couple minutes ago I was saying if Marquette isn't healthy, Kentucky wins, and honestly, Kentucky has a chance with their offense. But all right, there we go. There's my March Madness bracket. UConn and Houston. 2-1s. I don't like that I have 2-1s in my championship, but that's just how it works. That's how it's worked. There it is. UConn and Houston is my championship game. So yeah, that's it. That's my bracket. I see some of you guys are here. TCU definitely can win that game though. TCU definitely could win against Jameer Nelson Jr. You know, that 89 is always the toughest ones to break. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. That's good for the stream. If you were here, shout out to you. If you weren't here, if you're watching the VOD or watching the YouTube video I make after this, then what's up? You know, check out my community posts and all that stuff like that to watch, you know, to kind of, you know, keep up when we're streaming and all that stuff like that. Definitely gonna do another stream, maybe even next week, potentially. I don't really know. On some things. But yeah, that's me for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Join the membership. I made a whole video about the membership, so if you missed that, you can go back and watch it. And yeah, let's get the music back going over here. And I'll see you guys. See you guys later. I want to press a sound effect, but I don't know what sound effects I have on there, and so I'm not even going to do it. But yeah, peace out, everybody. Have a great one.